where I know Dianne best is I come from the gay community. In the 80s, we lost a lot of people. And we used to do living wakes. Because when someone was ready to die, they went home, and we knew we would never see them again. Most families would say, they can come home, but your friends stay away. And that's something you didn't do. You opened your house, you let us come. I'm sorry.
I was grateful you came.
You let us come in. It's not your life, it's not your style. You know, there was a lot of differences, and you didn't have to be as kind as you were to Joe. Joe didn't give you any justification other than being a brother, but your choices are good-hearted. Your choices were grounded in kindness. And that transitions to where you are right now.
Well, I have an older brother, Joe, who was a couple years older than I am, and we had not been really close. He had had a falling out with my parents and been gone 17 years. Somewhere around late 2011 or early 2012, Joe was diagnosed with ALS. And once you're on a ventilator, you can't live alone because you are literally tethered to this piece of equipment. And the day I knew we had a really good person here, my sister and I were going to take Joe from the rehab center to my house, and Waco's about 100 miles, and the ventilator has like 3 hours of battery time on it. And if you're not where you can plug it back in after 3 hours, you are in trouble. And we were getting ready to go, and Michael popped up to the hospital and he said, "Okay, are you ready?" And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "Well, I'm going to follow you." And I was like, "Okay." And he said, "Well, if you had a flat tire, you'd be up a creek." And I said, "You're right, I would."
We've been friends since Joe got ill. Yeah. And we became friends because of the way she's treated me and my family and Joe. The fact that we have totally different lives. Totally different backgrounds, totally different politics, but always warm and welcoming.
We did have something in common.
What's
we were
that?
both in the middle of long remodeling jobs.
We're both in the middle of long remodeling jobs. But a grounded friendship. I met Joe because I used to host the Outdoors Club, and it's the gay outdoor club. And we had about 400 members. Joe shows up in his cowboy hats and boots. And he liked camping. And we were friends.
Joe lived a little over 3 years after he was on the ventilator. And Michael walked the whole way with me, and he was there the day Joe died because he decided to come off the ventilator. So we had the opportunity to be there and sing hymns and see him off. And that just, I can't tell anybody what that meant to me, to have somebody else who knew him, and Joe was quirky, there's no question about it. And to have somebody else who knew him well enough to know and understand that, but still had the grace to walk through this with us. Yeah. It was huge to me.
Yeah. I got married by the local JP right here in Dallas County. No, I wouldn't get married in your court because it's not your choice. But I don't think I would ever feel like you were hostile. And you've made reasonable accommodations. Anything, you're not hostile. You made accommodations that, okay, here's a list. Here's where you can go.
Because of my Christian faith, I don't feel like, I know I'm not supposed to do weddings of same-sex people, but at the same time, I don't want to be disrespectful or hurt anybody's feelings. And in McLennan County, when Obergefell was decided, every judge in the county except for one JP in West quit doing weddings. So we finally put together a list of civil officiants and Judge Perea's address. And so we thought, well, we might as well go ahead and find the people who can do a same-sex wedding. So we put together a list of 4 or 5 people that were comfortable doing a same-sex wedding, and we had a list of all those officiants. And when people came in wanting a wedding during the time I wasn't doing any weddings, we gave everybody the list. After 14 months, I just became very convicted that I was inconveniencing everybody in the county, and it was very unfair, and that it was better to be able to accommodate who we could. And I've had people suggest to me, well, why don't you just not be available? You know, you can duck, just not be available. And to me, that's much more disrespectful to say, oh, no, I don't have time today, than it is to just go, I'm sorry, I can't accommodate you, but here's people who can. And we never had any complaints. Everybody who came in was lovely. They said thank you very much and, you know, went on their way, and we never had a complaint. So this complaint arose from the Judicial Conduct Commission itself.
When you called me and told me, I did take the time to look back at the different things. Texas has an accommodation law. I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know it. It allows for reasonable accommodation. So you're grounded in that. And from a personal perspective, my question would have been, and got answered, was, can I come in and get a list, and can I go on the same plan that I had before? Similar pricing, similar time schedule? Yes.
Yeah.
And that's fine. For me, that's fine. I have no problem with that. I think you and I are grounded in the fact we both believe in respectful differences. You accommodate reasonably. That's all you ask for.